Should culture be excused? So in other words, should something that we've been doing for hundreds, if not thousands of years, be continued just because it's always been this way? Even if that practice causes harm to somebody else, should we still consider it acceptable because it's always been around? Traditions, meals, and sporting events are just a few things that define a certain culture. And in this video, what I'm going to be talking about is making that distinction between culture and ethics. So my first example is Thanksgiving, a very famous celebration that happens in North America every single year where families gather around a table and give thanks. Yet it's ironic that this tradition revolves heavily around the suffering, torment, and death of another individual. People will go into supermarkets, pay for the nicest looking turkey, come home and display that dead body as a centerpiece on the dinner table. I just find that so ridiculous and disgusting to be celebrating. An animal who didn't want to die, who spent its entire life in a windowless shed where it didn't even have enough space to spread its wings, completely confined to one space, only for us to enjoy those few minutes of sensory pleasure with it. It doesn't seem right to me. It doesn't seem ethical. Why do we turn a blind eye to these things and allow these injustices to happen? Is it tradition, habit, pleasure? These factors are not excuses. Then there's sporting events, which is also a part of people's cultures. In this example, the Calgary Stampede, which is one of the biggest events that happens in Canada every single year. I did attend this event for the first and last time a few years ago. I went in completely naive to what I was about to see, thinking that it was just going to be a few horses, but the reality is much more harsher. They are baby cows being thrown into the center of a ring, only to be chased around, completely frightened by a fully grown man with a rope. All of this just so the audience can cheer and laugh. I know that by asking people to change their meals, their traditions, it's like asking them to change a part of their culture. But this is where we have to make the distinction between what is cultural and what is ethical. Culture is a set of customs, values, and beliefs, but ethics are moral principles that help us distinguish right from wrong, good and bad. There was once a time where incest, slavery, cannibalism, human sacrifice were once cultural aspects of society. But we've evolved and we know that where there is oppression, there is also injustice. It's time that we stop being pawns in a culture that was constructed centuries ago. There is no longer a necessity towards animal cruelty.